name is Professor Luce, and today we're going to talk about chapters 3 through 5. You can see the overview for chapters 1 through 2 in the previous video. So these chapters really focus on nervousness and sort of the point of taking public speaking and how it might benefit you overall. So why is it important overall? Well, you know that's going to help you to build your confidence. The more you speak, the better you'll get at it and the more confident you will feel. This is like any other activity you've ever done, whether it be sports, band, music, etc. The more you practice it, the better you will get at it overall. Why is it important is that it actually helps you in terms of opening up doors for career advancement. If you think about meetings you might have had at work, you may have had an idea, but if you didn't speak up about it and somebody else presented it, they probably got the credit. They didn't have to come up with the idea, but they're the ones that presented it to others, and therefore they're seen as the ones that authored the idea. Not saying that's right, I'm just saying that perception matters. So one way that you can help yourself in your career field is by work on your public speaking skills and being the one to speak up. Additionally, if you think about how nervous you are about public speaking, not everybody gets that kind of training in college. Not everybody gets that kind of training in the job field. So they may not want to speak up, and if you're willing to do it, it allows you additional opportunities, whether that's with your current role or whether that's expanding into a new position or some sort of hybrid. You also have to think about outside of your career. It opens up different opportunities for you, not just in your career. It can have to do with things that you enjoy doing. So it could be part of a PTA, it could be local governance, it could be just getting what you want in terms of having an HOA, add a rule or get rid of a rule, or the county level or the city level, something getting changed that you want to have changed. In order for that to happen, you need to have a voice, and one of the things that you can do is practice utilizing that voice in this class, so that way when it comes to something really important to you, you have the ability to communicate that idea effectively. Throughout the semester, we're going to develop lots of different skills: researching, audience analysis, organization, supporting your claims, and then distinguishing between arguments and uncivil speech. I'm going to show you these video clips. I'm gonna wait to the end. That way, if you don't want to watch the entire videos, you don't have to. These are also available on YouTube, but I think they're really good examples of the difference between uncivil speech and then when you might have a disagreement with someone, how to have a civil conversation about that. Because arguments don't have to be uncivil. They don't have to be combative. You can have a discussion and talk about your ideas in a very civil way. Public speaking is based on skills that you already likely possess. So you have conversations every day, whether they were friends, family, people you don't know, you likely talk to them in some capacity. And so we're going to build on some of those concepts and tweak them a little bit, improve some of them, so that way you can become a better public speaker. And then additionally, the written skill, because for your speeches, you start with a written component. That's going to be your best work, and then you try to translate that to the spoken component. Speeches need to be audience-centered, and this is one of the more difficult concepts for some speakers to grasp. You are not speaking to hear yourself speak. You are not speaking just to put an idea out into the empty space. Instead, you are speaking to try to reach an audience. That means you need to focus your speech toward them. It means adapting to them. It means being able to find things that they find interesting and intertwining that with whatever message you may have for them. I know that several of you have speech anxiety, and that's okay. We will watch a short clip right now. You've probably seen this one before. It's from Talladega Nights. While you're watching the video, I want you to think about, what do you notice that he does with his hands, and do you think you know how to properly gesture?
First of all, where did you learn to drive like that?
On car memory.
Can you speak up briefly?
The car, sounded real good. I felt like I was on a spaceship. And I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
It'd be good just to hold them down by your side. Yeah, great.
We were real happy with what was going on. And at the end of the day, you know, you got to be happy.
Whatever the hell his name is, let's get him over here.
Everything ended up fine.
Okay. Yeah, okay, everything was fine. Thanks. Great job, Ricky. Good job in the car. Ricky Bobby, a force to be reckoned with possibly in the near future. Ricky Bobby.
So you notice because he doesn't know what to do with his hands, he ends up doing awkward things. And that's what you're going to tend to do at first. So one thing we will work on throughout the semester is how do you work on making gestures overall? And the general rule is going to be up and out. So up above your waist and then out away from your body. Doesn't mean you have to do like crazy stuff with your hands, but they should be up and out rather than the small closed window that some of you have with your gestures. Nervous energy is always going to be present. So I want you to think about what are some positive ways in which you reduce nervous energy. The number one way, of course, is going to be practice. The more you practice, the less nervous you will feel. I promise you, you will never be too rehearsed for this class. It's not going to happen. I never left that comment to anyone. In addition to that, I also want you to think about like how can you use any of that nervous energy that you might have left over. So that means like how can you use it in a positive way? Does that mean you can use it in gestures? Does it mean you can use it to be a little bit louder or animated at times? Does it mean that you take a small step forward, a small step back? There's two sides to this. One is of course lowering how nervous you are through practicing, through getting feedback, through taking deep breaths, yoga, meditation, whatever you need to do ahead of time. The other half then is whatever nervous energy you have left, utilizing in a positive way. So if you want to contribute to the classroom discussion, you're more than welcome to. If you have any unique ways in which you found to be super helpful for reducing nervous energy, that would be greatly appreciated. There's a couple of things here that I want to kind of lead you through so that way you can see these are ways in which are fun to help reduce nervous energy. Additionally, they help you to speak more clearly. If you think about any sport or activity, you always have a warm-up. These warm-ups allow you to get rid of some of that nervous energy, but also you wouldn't want to go into a speech without saying anything ahead of time. So try these as slow as possible at first, and then you speed up a little bit more, and you speed up a little bit more after that, and then go as fast as you can. I'm only going to do it one time for each one so you kind of get the point. So the New York one is very simple. I like New York. I love New York. I like and love unique New York. You want to over-articulate when possible. For leather, it's simply red leather, yellow leather, lavender leather. Now this next one is really difficult, so make sure you go as slowly as possible for the very first time. I am a mother pheasant plucker. I pluck mother pheasants. I am the most pleasant mother pheasant plucker to ever pluck a mother pheasant. So that's sort of at the very slow end of things. As you practice more and more, you'll be able to go faster and faster. So with New York, you start out slow, and then move up to I like New York, I love New York, I like and love unique New York, and then as fast as you possibly can. I like New York, I love New York, I like and love unique New York. So the idea is that you're over articulating and it gets you used to speaking and they're kind of fun. The last thing we're going to talk about today is listening, and it is important. I'm not putting it at the end because it lacks importance, but I want you to be able to focus on listening as much as possible when watching other people's speeches. You'll probably notice that you have selective perception and that you kind of pick up on only certain things that you feel apply to you. That's important to know as a listener, so that way you want to try to be a little bit more active in your listening and thinking about how to make connections to ideas. But it's also important to know as a speaker that listeners don't pick up on everything you say. And if you've ever been in a relationship with someone, you probably know someone that picks up on certain things and doesn't pick up on other parts. So you want to make sure that you're connecting to the audience as a speaker, because that's going to make them much more of an active listener rather than having selective perception. When you are listening, you want to have goals. So maybe you go into a speech listening for what are the main ideas, or how can I apply this to my everyday life? You want to listen for those main ideas. You want to evaluate what they're saying. So it's not just listening to the ideas they present. You want to be critically thinking about, are these true? Like, could I have misperceptions about what I thought I knew, and they are presenting new information rather than rejecting it automatically. And then the last thing is that you want to be able to offer constructive feedback in this course specifically. So out in the real world, that's probably not going to happen, but in this class, you want to be able to tell people not just what they didn't do right or where they might have not done as well as you would have liked them to see, but also what could they do to improve it. So it's not just identifying areas for improvement, it's offering ideas about what they did well, and then if they need improvement in a certain area, how might they be able to do that. So the very end, I'll provide a link to these videos instead, and so this way you can also look them up pretty easily. They're on YouTube. The Kitty Couric video talks about how to have disagreements in a civil way, and the Alan West video is a good example. And I'm sure you probably know from politicians, they don't like backing down, they don't like to admit fault, but it's a pretty good example of uncivil discourse. All right, and that's it for chapters 3 through 5.